Welcome to the Two Pines Radio Show with your host, That Nick Guy. And this episode is part 2 of the Kel McGuire episode.
Yeah.
Hooray! Kel, what have you been doing lately with that building?
Yeah, I've been real busy. So for a while, I bought this building in, I think, end of February, beginning of March. Yeah, beginning of March. And I was like in a standstill for a while because we were waiting on blueprints to get drawn up, find out what was a load bearing wall, what wasn't. It's very easy to come up with an idea when you know what points you can't budge on. A no is better than yes. If anything's possible, every idea that you can think of will become a discussion point. But if this wall can't be moved, now we work within the restrictions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ever since that come in, we've been sledging out walls. I've spent the most time in there, but we hosted for everybody that volunteered, you got free entry into a tournament for only volunteers, and it was like a $80 prize for first place, and then everybody else got participation. So it was a pretty good gig. Had a good crew, got a lot done that day. Yeah, I mean, you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it before. I don't think you had.
No, I haven't seen it before.
It is worlds different. Like, we have taken out so much shit from inside of there. That's left me tired. So I used to work out before work, go to work, come to the shop and work. Now it's a workout before work out by doing demo, squeeze in, go into the shop, try and sleep.
Try and sleep.
Yeah. And I've also been binge watching One Piece. In the small windows of time I have, I'm on episode 569.
It's one show, a long show? One Piece, a long show?
Oh, yeah. It's one of the longest running animes of all time.
Oh, I only remember reading one issue of it back in like 2003 or something. An issue of Shonen Jump or something.
Yep, that sounds right. But basically, I don't watch these new animes that all these kids have. I remember the good old days, kind of. That's been my mentality on it. I can't even speak to One Piece because I never watched it, and it's longer than Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z, I remember binging 5 episodes a day.
Yeah.
I would go to work at Walmart, take my first break, watch an episode. Take lunch break, watch 3 episodes. Take one more break, watch another episode.
Yep.
I think I got through Dragon Ball Z Saga like 2 weeks or something.
It's easy when you find those cheat sheets online to tell you the filler episodes, so you could just burn through them real fast. Especially in Dragon Ball Z. Power up for 5 minutes. All right, back to content.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everything's like, I'm sure you've seen the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pot of Greed memes.
No.
Because like they always over-explain everything in anime.
Yeah.
So Pot of Greed has 3 words, draw 2 cards, and they'll stretch it out for 5 minutes about what all possibilities that could end up from this one card effect. But it's just 3 words. And every time somebody plays Pot of Greed in Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's like another 4 or 5 minutes. Because it's like the same, like they're just like, all right, copy, paste, tweak. But yeah.
I've been watching Bob's Burgers lately to go to sleep.
Great show.
Been trying a new thing called taking melatonin.
Yes.
It kind of works wonders.
Yes. Do you have your screen set up to turn off blue light?
I wear these glasses if I'm staring at it too long, but mostly it's just like a white noise thing to go to sleep.
Oh, right. But like blue light inhibits melatonin production.
Does it really?
Yes.
Hmm.
So if you, as a computer monkey, staring at screens all day, it will make it harder for you to go to sleep because that's the same light that the sun produces, like in that wavelength. And so your brain's like, aha, daylight still, survival.
I wonder why I woke up at 3 this morning and then stayed up for 3 hours.
Your circadian rhythm's fucked.
Somewhat. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. I have 2 cats that wake me up to feed them at 5 every single morning.
That ain't too bad. 5's a good time to wake up.
I love them to death, so I don't mind it. Like they scratch at the bottom of the bed and then come up through the back, pet me on the head and say, "Meow."
Yeah. Bitch, get up.
Pretty much, I'll just wake up to breathing.
Jesus. It's like hanging out with Corey Bell again. I'm kidding, Corey. I love you.
Hey, Corey, sorry for scaring you like a few days ago.
Yeah.
Not really. It was pretty funny. Tap you on the shoulder. Yeah.
For context, Nick went to go visit Corey's mom because she's like all of our moms. And Corey was distracted in the room with headsets on. He's not just like walking up behind people as a ninja. Nick's not that stealthy.
Well, have you ever seen me there?
Yes.
Damn it. Tried to be clever. It did not work. I'm going to run away now. Podcast over.
Yeah. My feel bads.
Oh, so the last time we talked, I do believe it was mid-April. And now it is like mid-August.
Yeah.
And technically I posted that episode today because I got the episodes mixed up and I didn't realize it until now.
Oh, so this is going to be a big time jump for people.
Oh, yeah. Big time jump.
Unless this one also has the same delay.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like,
oh, yeah, that's right.
Like, you don't have to post this next week. Like, you could just be slamming us still. Where you're ADHD, you'll record another one in the meantime. Like, this has to go up today. And you're like, oh, crap, I have unreleased content.
Well, I have to do it tomorrow. I have to upload it tomorrow because of how Spotify works. If you upload an episode and then upload another episode, for some reason, it'll put the other one before this one if it's the same day and my episodes are out of order. Even though there's no real order to them. Right. I only mentioned the episode once, and that was for episode 15. And that's why I had to put yours as 16 and not 15, even though I had it labeled as 15 for a while.
Right. Yeah.
Very specific for the 107 people that actually listen to this.
This is going to be on both of our feeds, which we already talked about, but I don't think we've mentioned in this. I mean, everybody will figure it out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, people don't realize putting together a podcast is hard. Like, overall, each individual step is simple, but to sit down and do it on a scheduled day, once a week, and get everything tempered out and released on schedule takes a lot of time that a lot of adults don't have. And especially with me being busy with the demo work, is my day I record. Instead, I've been going and doing demolition. And in my head, I'm like, if I just skip one more week, I'll get it done. But it's a hydra in its own. I thought I was almost done dropping all the walls, and then this last wall was all plaster, which I don't know if you know how that's laid out.
The thing you had mentioned to me, because I'm not sure if I should relay it on here, the other building.
Oh, yeah, no, we won't get into that. I'm ambitious. If it happens, I'll tell you. But I'm always thinking about putting other irons in the fire.
Well, make sure there's no bronze in there. Unless you want a bronze iron sword. I don't know how the saying goes. I'm lame.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd go with lame.
Hooray, I'm not lame.
Neurotic?
No, I don't know what that word means.
There you go. Neurotic.
I'm a 10th grade reading level. Be careful with me.
Please be gentle.
Please be gentle. Going back to anime, I've been recently watching TV shows that I didn't really get a chance to actually sit down and watch, but I just remember an episode here or two as a kid, like Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and all that. And one recently, because I looked at my keychain and it reminded me.
Outlaw Star. No, Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
Outlaw Star is the other one in space.
I've never heard of that.
It was on Adult Swim before Cowboy Bebop when I was like 13 or 14.
Is it good?
Yeah, I liked it. This is also me talking about nostalgia versus like me as an adult talking about it. So I don't know if it would meet my current standards, but I liked it back then.
I mean, if you liked it back then, why should your standards change for past content?
If it's over abusing tropes that I'm tired of, I might not watch it today. But back then, as I was new to tropes, do you know what tropes are?
Please elaborate.
Cliches.
Okay.
Like plot devices, or of course the tiny girl with the big boggle glasses is the computer scientist that joins the crew.
Yeah, you're right.
Like those kind of things. Oh, you mean Goku starts to lose and then he gets a new transformation against this final boss?
Yeah.
Like, it's the pattern. And you notice that a lot, especially in anime. That's why the good ones always mix it up. Or they project what the end version is going to be from the get-go, and it's a journey to get there. Like Naruto in the Nine-Tailed Fox demon form. So, almost the entire series is he's this little dude. Mind you, I haven't watched it all, but I've got cliff notes from fans. He's a little dude, and when he was born, there was a nine-tailed demon fox fucking shit up, and I'm like, shove it in that kid. And that's how they sealed it away. And everybody in the village hated him because he was the cursed child or whatever.
Oh, shit.
Well, eventually he starts fighting, and then he's getting fucked up, and the fox doesn't want to die. So it's like, all right, now, Daddy will handle it. And eventually, Naruto has full control. Like, they're in a full symbiotic relationship. But that's near the end of it all. And then once that was done, they're like, all right, now we're on to Boruto.
What's that?
It's the sequel where it's his kid. They do a time skip.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of animes with time skips, I found. Because instead of them just like, I guess I get tired of the whole Simpsons cliche, where they're just young forever.
Yeah. I would like some age in there.
Right.
I always think of like, what would age do to my favorite shows too?
Absolutely. That actually just happened in One Piece. There's a 2-year time skip.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they make you work for it. It was like an 80-episode arc to get to that point.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I don't like short shows, but I don't like really fucking long ones either.
Oh, well, some of it's obviously filler, and I skip those.
Oh, you just skip them?
Yeah, just outright skipped them.
Oh.
So while instead of pulling another Full Metal Alchemist, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Oh, I love that show. I don't know about Brotherhood. Never seen it.
Brotherhood you'll like even more because I was obsessed with Full Metal Alchemist, and then Brotherhood's just 10 times better.
How so? I don't care about spoilers.
No. Like, so...
Spoiler alert if you've never seen this show.
The thing with them is, for the first roughly like 15 episodes, they're the same show. I mean, they tell stories from different angles on the remake, but it's not really a remake, and here's what happened. Eventually, the show caught up to the manga. So they just kind of like made their own plot from there on out. Mm-hmm. And they had their own creative team, and people still liked it.
Is Brotherhood more focused on the manga?
It is literally the manga.
Oh.
So like there's plot twists that the people that started writing didn't know called back to like some of the beginning episodes. And like they made their own twists and turns. Like the death of Hughes is still one of the saddest moments in anime.
I love Hughes.
But like Brotherhood tells the story well too. And they actually go into other nations and how they have different kind of alchemy. Yeah.
Ooh.
Like
yeah, I gotta watch that one then.
Medicinal alchemy.
One show I really, really want to watch is Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Never seen it, but I love the fucking premise.
I used to play the card game. The game's amazing.
I remember the fucking wrestling card game we used to play.
Yep, Raw Deal.
Fortitude.
Yep.
Or something.
No, you're right. That was the mana system.
Oh, okay.
It was all like momentum. So you start with 0. You play a 0 that deals 1 damage. You can now play 1 drops and less for magic players.
Wouldn't Mankind have like infinite fortitude because he's always fucking moving? Even if you like, you could do what you want to him and he's still moving.
Yeah.
Tooth in his ear. All right.
The way they would represent stuff like that is you could, because you'd take damage. So if you had a card that dealt damage, you would take cards off the top of your deck and put it in the discard pile. And then that was how you represent the damage. So if you wanted to show them recovering, you would take cards from the discard pile, put it back into the deck. So that wouldn't be the fortitude to reflect the flavor of somebody that's just tenacious like that. It would be the ability to stop everything from dealing full damage or to take all the damage and then put it back.
Oh, okay.
And there were decks that did that.
I need to get into card games again. Well, actually, into card games in general.
Probably don't. Save yourself some money. As a lifelong addict, Save yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to have anywhere even close to like the size of a box full of cards. Maybe like have one deck and no extras, that kind of thing.
Try that.
Damn minimalism.
Tell me how that works.
I won't.
Okay.
Because it probably won't happen.
So my minimalistic approach to it is to shove it in a corner I don't have to look at. So all of my extras are in the basement.
Or just put in the building. Oh, wait, you go there every day. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think last episode was really business focused, and now we're talking about mostly anime.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, that's fine. It's whatever.
Chit-chatting,
We're not even drinking pints. I could go for a beer.
Oh, are we going to have a pint on 2 pints? It's only been a couple episodes. I'm kidding. Incidents had some beer in it. It's a segment where we take weird food game ideas and then try them out while drinking. We did the Birdie Bots Every Flavor Beans, but it was called Bean Boozled because licensing, but still the same premise.
Right.
It's fucking terrible. I think I puked out of getting grossed out from the taste. And then I decided to put all the beans in my mouth. All 10 different flavors.
Was it a net positive flavor or negative?
Very negative. Every single bean that I had was negative. But I thought about doing the 1 chip challenge.
Oh, yeah. Let me be there. I'd love to do it.
You actually do it, though?
Absolutely.
It's $70 a chip. It's expensive for a damn chip, but priceless for the reaction.
Oh, yeah. Hey, dude, that's content.
Oh, I love it.
People love seeing it. And also, sorry for the no video here. I'm tired. So, if you're audio only, and Nick recorded us at the building, I left work, and then I couldn't stop from doing demo work at the building. We actually had to leave. We were originally going to record there, just to kind of be in the environment, because we were going to talk about it. It makes it easier to talk about if it's right there in front of you. But also, I couldn't stop, so we left.
Yep, pretty much. We did an outside tour as well, but got some all right shots. I'm still checking out what this camera can really do and whatnot.
Do you have any sponsors yet?
Sponsors, no, but I do plan on going to Sun King Brewery sometime this weekend and asking for a tour. Because I love their beer, and they're right in Fishers, and I see no reason why...
They've got... Alex just sent me a new flavor they have. Or that he found.
Oh, it sucks.
Orange vanilla?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Sorry, Sun King. I do like the original Sunlight, but the... I just don't know. It's not like a popsicle. If it was like a popsicle, it'd be all right. It's a bit too bitter to be...
Still got that hopsy taste?
Yeah, but no sweetness to the aftertaste.
You figured the orange would still give you a nice little kick.
It'd be like Diet Dr. Pepper vanilla.
Yeah, okay. I'd drink it. I don't know if I'd actively go out and buy it.
Yeah, if I was offered, I would drink it, of course, not to be rude or anything, but...
Right, I'll still go to a bar to try it for myself.
Have you ever had Sunlight, yellow can?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Ice House has pints of them, and their burgers there are amazing, and I always pair them with it. It's just... It's just a good thing. If they are, I need to get my ass a fucking burger.
Yeah, because they're supposed to be selling it all. I think they're selling everything.
I think just about everything in this town is selling.
It's a good market. I'm not sure how familiar you are with real estate, but you can post a house for sale and it will be gone within a week.
Oh, yeah, because they're like $500 here.
No. No, my $70,000 house in the current market was roughly $110,000.
Holy shit. Have you ever had Wee Mac by...
Yep. I try every new flavor that I haven't had yet, and I'm in the context to try it right now. I try. They also do exclusive flavors for Gen Con. Have you ever gone?
Nope. I've never been to Gen Con.
I had one, and it was... I think they have a coffee beer now. I can't remember its name. But back then they called it Froth of Con. I
need to try it.
Well, that one was a Gen Con exclusive. But that new one's like something with aliens.
I do have 8 minutes left on this video recording because the SD card and the bit rate, and I just didn't set up audio well, so I'll probably just take the audio off of my phone here, which isn't too bad.
Right.
I'll definitely notice the difference there when I'm editing it all up. But no sponsorship yet. I would love to get one. I would love to have someone give me beer and then me shit talk it, That'd be fun.
When the lights go out, that's their new coffee porter.
Oh, yep. It's not exactly new. I've seen it around.
Right.
It's probably seasonal.
That would make sense.
I think it's a strong one too. Maybe like 7 or 8%.
Yeah. There was too much time in between the two flavors for me to say they're the same thing. But I don't imagine there's too much room for innovation in coffee porters.
No.
I mean, talking about an industry where like it's really just like a slider bar. We put the hops in this long.
A different kind of hops. There's mosaic hops, which kind of give it a fruity kind of taste, like not like fruit punch, but kind of zestier. Mm-hmm. Some of them make it spicier. Some of them just outright fucking bitter. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of different kind of hops, and then the time you leave it to ferment too, and whatnot, like Dogfish Head.
Yeah, the 120, 60, and 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I think that's just one type of hops, and then they stop fermenting it at that time. Yeah. And then that affects how strong it is or how bitter, and that's just one type of hops.
Right.
If they did that with like a mosaic hops or something like that, I would probably like it. There's a beer I like called Stone Ripper, and I have not seen it around for like a year now, but it's one of my favorite beers. It's not bitter, but it's really fruity, but I love it. It's not like a Hawaiian Punch or anything, but kind of like pineapple-y.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
But it's not like fruity. It's the hops doing it, and it's a really strong fucking beer. I think it's like 9%. But I think a lot of people have the misconception that all beer kind of tastes the same. That's kind of true for all the light fucking beers. I hate light beers. Sorry. They all do kind of taste like piss water, except for Rollin' Rock. It's pretty good. Which I thought back in the day when watching Angry Video Game Nerd that Rollin' Rock was a type of soda. Because I thought of like Ale 7 or whatever, Ale 8.
Right.
I thought, Rollin' Rock, what is that? I need to try that. I'm like 17 or something.
Kids.
But I've had maybe 50 different kinds of beers while working for 2 places now. And no, there's a lot of difference when you get into like craft beer. Right. You get like domestic and stuff like Budweiser and Miller and Coors and all that.
They're different versions of the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just a light Pilsner, pretty much.
Right. All right. Well, I guess that just shows my ignorance. Have you ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect?
Nope.
So imagine, if you will, and this is for everybody, I'll try and say it in such a way. You have a graph. You got your Y and X axis, one going up, one going down. And the bottom one is time in position, or time or knowledge, time of thing that you're measuring. So in this, time that I've been drinking beer, right? And then the bar going up is my perceived knowledge of beer. So the Dunning-Kruger effect says that you'll start out at a spot of ignorance, and your confidence will go up. And then eventually, you'll hit a point where you realize how little you fucking know, and the bar goes down dramatically, and then it curves back up. So you start from a point of ignorance, then you get to a point of foolish confidence where I say, ha, there is no room for innovation in beer. And then somebody's like, no, knowledge. That graph plummets to the bottom, and I realize how little I know. Now from here, I can start differentiating. If I hear people talk about the citrusy hops, I'll recognize the word. Even though I've already forgotten it, doesn't mean that I won't recognize it in the future. So yeah, Dunning-Kruger effect.
I would try a different beer when you leave here, because you said you were in the mood for beer.
Oh, I've got to get these orders done.
While drinking beer. I'm kidding.
Oh, that'd be nice. That's a good thing about being the business owner. I can drink on the clock.
That would be awesome.
Against company policy.
I mean, I drank a little bit while recording a long play of Super Mario Brothers. First one.
Right.
I was like, all right, I got to pee first before I start. All right, 2 pints in.
All right, so this is going to be on my channel, and this is like unusually exposing of my personal behaviors. I don't normally talk about me much on the podcast. Normally when we record, we're talking about thing in Magic or other card game, right?
Uno momento, sir.
No, you're fine. But like when I have guests, so in this context, I'm the guest. But like when I have guests that are outside of that realm, a conversation drifts out of it, which is only natural if you're going to have an organic conversation. I can't force you into a Magic conversation and expect you to pick up. So, where was I going with this? Those taps was me processing. That was my Windows icon spinning.
My Windows icon when I'm driving, when I'm figuring out my GPS, because I always remember where to go. I barely use GPS.
Yes.
I do this.
Yeah, I've seen you do that, actually.
What? Oh, yeah.
We took that long road trip. It was down for food the day my car got T-boned. But yeah, like this is
for food, for T-bones.
Yeah. This is people haven't really talked about my personal life or whatever. So one of the cool things about working from home, I'm sure, is happening out there in the world right now, because we live in COVID world, right?
Yeah.
A lot of businesses are at home, and people are like, you can work in your underwear. You know people are getting drunk. You know what's happening. How many people are like, man, this job makes me want to drink? When you're at home, you can bet your ass people are drinking. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, 2 pints guests. You should be getting on LinkedIn and doing like linking up with people that work at breweries in the marketing department directly. You can just message them.
I really thought of asking the head of Sun King Brewery if he would have like an interview like this, but not a professional one like on my show.
Yeah.
Where we try a beer, we review it, and then we tell a raunchy story.
Tell him it'd be like, just explain it to him. Like, imagine an informal conversation like JRE.
Beer reviews, interviews, and raunchy stories.
Well, I mean, you can't force him into a raunchy story, but just tell him that it's okay.
I gotta ease him in, unless he's into anal.
Well, right, but like you can't just go, hey, say that it's an unfiltered conversation. If you say raunchy, that tells me that I'm gonna pull you into uncomfortable conversations, which is not the vibe you go for. Every podcast I've listened to has been kind of like, say whatever the hell you want. There's no censorship here. I mean, if you want to go into a story, I'm all in. I'm right there with you. You did what with a cane? Tell me more. Like, so yeah, there's nuance to that, and it's 10th grade reading level right now, and you're talking to somebody that's a seasoned professional that spends their life more than likely with a certain approach and look that he has to have.
Mm-hmm.
Let him know that he can kick the shoes off, and then from there you just meet him at his level. Like, hey, I just want to drink a beer, talk about your favorite parts about it with you.
You know what's weird?
A lot of things.
Yes. I don't have any worries or nervousness about asking him to tell a story like that. You know?
Absolutely. What's he gonna say? No.
No.
All right.
I'm not even afraid of.
You can get on Instagram. You're gonna find the next person.
Time, you know? Like
you just cold call motherfuckers. I am not a successful podcaster in the grand scheme of things. Hell, I haven't made an episode for 3 weeks. Not true. 2 weeks. I made one, put it on Twitch. The memory card wasn't in there, so that one was lost, and I couldn't post it.
Oh, fuck.
So, sorry about that, guys. And then also, in terms of content, because this is going to be on my podcast, I will be doing a giveaway soon for a Secret Lair Godzilla land. So, you know Godzilla.
Yes.
You know the basic lands of Magic.
Yes.
They put Godzilla on basic lands of Magic.
Fuck?
Yeah. It was $30 for one of each.
Ooh.
They're now, I think, roughly $50 each. And then inside of it, because it's sealed, you get a random alternate art Planeswalker card too, which could be like $100, depending on the Planeswalker. So, I'm giving away money. And And if you want to get an early start, it's just going to be following me on all my social medias. So if you're listening to this, you already follow me on one, presumably. Maybe you're not. You might be on Nick Marshall's stuff, because we are doing this.
Probably not. I'm not that social.
Yeah, no. Well, right.
I really don't know how I have this many people that actually listen.
I don't like to follow the numbers, which became a problem when I was reaching out for sponsors. I have a sponsorship and a partnership, and then I'm still waiting for the API integration for my website for my partnership, and then that is with Hero .io, I think, and it's HEARO instead of HERO, and it is an aggregate. So if I stream on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, any platform, I think they got like LinkedIn and a few more, it will also stream on Hero.
Ooh.
So if you like my content, no matter what one, because I want to switch it up. Mm-hmm. So this week I'm on Facebook, next week, and then that way I go to where people are. But if you want to see all of them, you'd go to Hero.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're great. They're I'd say a small startup in the grand scheme of things. You know, they're small. They're not Facebook big, but they're not like just some dude in his garage either. Great people. It was a very interesting experience going through that whole conversation, and but yeah, so that's the partnership, and then the sponsor is repsports.com.
I've never heard of these things.
No, we're right, and that's why they're partnering with smaller people, and they're not just on Joe Rogan podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're smaller. They do a lot of supplements, workout supplements. Mm-hmm. If you've seen me recently, you know I'm a bigger guy, but I used to be pretty fit. Could almost bench 300. I could shrug 600. I was in pretty good shape before I got a management job. Then the memes about manager weight, they're not joking, man. Cortisol levels go up. Your sedentary lifestyle because you're sitting down. Like it'll hit you fast if you're not paying attention.
Why have I not gained any weight? I'm always 152.
Your genetics are better suited. My body wants to be big. It doesn't care if it's muscles or fat. One of the two. It'll get its way. Now I could diet my way out of it, but I also like food.
I love food. And
so my solution, where my happiness is, instead of like calorie counting, I burn more calories. I'm fine with that. I will bust my ass at the gym. I just have to have time to do it. Not the point. And I've got to spend like an hour or two. Right now I'm only doing like 40 minutes. So it's still not the best. I just got to get to a point in my life where I have more free time. Mm-hmm. Said everybody ever.
Said everybody ever.
Right. Because I could be doing it right now. Said I'm recording a podcast. Often people use strategy as a way to excuse their inactivity. I'm not doing it because
I'm planning it out.
Yeah, that's what I just did. I'm not recording a podcast because I'm demoing, and I'm recording this podcast instead of working out. So it's a dangerous circle. You gotta be cognizant of these things. You can trap yourself.
I think I did that for a long time when I was trying to make video games and whatnot. I've always wanted to make my own levels in Super Mario World, and then in 2005 I started doing that because the tools I had at hand were a computer. Never had a computer at that point, but I used my grandpa's. And that evolved into making my own game of it for 15 years where I did nothing. Because it got challenging. And that the reward wasn't worth.
You still learned stuff. Work. I mean, you learned to manipulate. You created a weather system.
Yeah.
In an
assembly.
16-bit game?
Yeah.
There's a 32-bit.
I wrote the assembly code.
Right.
Like, somehow. I don't even know assembly. I just took some variables from, like, how the layering works. There's like 3 layers when you go into a stage. The second layer is interactive, but not at the same time. It can be, but it can also be in the background, and it's not that taxing to hardware. And an example of that is an underground stage with the yellow platforms that move up and down, and you got to kind of avoid them or, while the level is scrolling. And I just used that layer for a repeating tile effect. And that tile effect I drew myself, and it looks terrible, but
it existed.
I got rain, and then I darkened the color palette specifically for that level and added in the lightning effect from Bowser's lair or whatever, and then the sound effects from fucking a ghost place, and these are all shared assets that you have to like plug in a very specific way, and if you don't, you have to recompile the whole fucking ROM and all that stuff. Man, that took a while to figure out. When you add one enemy that isn't a part of its original graphics scheme or has its own code, you have to reinsert everything else in order, because the way a ROM works is it's physical from bottom to up. So if you like put your enemy on top, where the fuck is it? It's supposed to go in that specific order from bottom to top physically on a chip.
Oh, wow.
And you have to write the assembly part of it.
Oh, man.
So I had to figure out how to get rid of one layer and add another, and also have it stack in that
Everything
right way.
else had to stack in the same order.
And somehow that bitch is on a cartridge, and it was on a
So to
display.
simplify this for people that are lost, those child games where you've got the bigger rings and they turn into the smaller rings, you know what I'm talking about? Where you've got like...
Yeah.
So if you got rid of one of the smaller rings and then put it on top, the game would be looking for that ring, and it's not where it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's avoid...
And the smallest ring is the end of the game, so it's outside of the entire game anyway, so now you gotta restack every ring.
Yep.
And this is with software that's easier than back in the day.
You're going to lose people.
Oh, yep. I'm losing people already.
Yeah, so...
And subscribing, not listen to this stupid show. Where's my beer again, honey? Wait, that's a bowling ball. Come here, bitch. Wait, hold up.
God. This is going on my channel too, jerk. You can't say that kind of stuff.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Jesus. For shame.
I did not know the context in which I was speaking.
Oh, I cuss. Like, I'm still mean.
I didn't mean the undertone.
Dude, like, even on my TikTok, and you know, I appreciate criticism. You can never improve without it. You could try to improve, but if nobody's giving you feedback, for better or for worse,
TikTok angles could do a bit better.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. If you're like this, you kind of look like a grandpa.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that could improve.
Yeah, well, most of the time, I have a little shitty stand that wobbles, and as long as it's in the general direction, most people are focused on the cards.
Is TikTok only doable with a phone?
Not technically anymore. You can upload mobile, but
Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Wi-Fi camera.
Well, you would still have to upload it through their site. And then it has to be within the video format. So, not landscape, portrait. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's hard. I mean, you could there are people that do professional editing, but I'm not so caught up on the quality that I won't produce content. But like some of the feedback that I have gotten is that I really liked your content and then you started cussing in this video. I'm like, I'm sorry that it offended you. And it wasn't my intent.
Oh, language.
Oh yeah. I got like temples. Fucking temples. If you watch my TikTok, you just know I hate the temples. I think we've gotten 3 printings of it in the last calendar year, maybe 2 years. But they're terrible. They enter in tapped. They scry, so you got to look at the top card, so you kind of get to fix your next draw, but I mean, I'd just much rather have a land enter in untapped.
Yeah, me too. What?
So tapped means it's used for the turn.
I mean, I know all that.
But,
I mean, I know how to play.
But they're your rare slot is what the most important part is. So instead of a card you could use, you got this 20-cent piece of crap that you don't want.
What about that lady, this green card? I really don't know her name, but...
Zeus the Lost but Seeking?
Yep.
2 colorless and a green, legendary creature, 2/1.
You can do 2 lands at a time, right?
An additional 2.
An additional 2. So just 1 temple, 2 lands to have their scry effect.
Well, yeah. So she does help because, like, instead of playing a tapped land for the next 3 turns, you'd go, bam, I'm live. The thing about Azusa in a constructed format, I love Azusa, is unless you have more lands in your hand, eventually she becomes a blank creature. So if you put her out turn 3, which means you've played if you went first, you didn't draw a card first turn. You played a land, go to 6. Draw a card, go to 7, play a land, go to 6. Draw a card, play a land, stay at 6. Play Azusa, go to 5. Then if you use your ability, you go to 4 to 3. Can't do anything this turn, go to 4. And then if you play 2 more lands, you have 2 cards left in hand and Azusa on board. And you got to hope that you can maximize off of it. So she goes well paired with cards that keep putting lands in your hand for no other cost. Or if you have ways of returning lands back to hand to spam them. So let's say you have a card that says pay 0, return a land to your hand. Whatever. You go, scry 1, I don't want this, put it at the bottom. Return it to hand, play it against scry. I don't want that one either. Scry, that's a card I want, I'll leave it there. That's where you'd be able to abuse Azusa. And most of those times, you're not doing those things unless you're playing Commander, which is a singleton format. Mm-hmm. So your odds of hitting Azusa are low unless she is your commander. And Azusa as a commander is stupid.
I tried to think of a strategy around just her as my commander.
Okay, so
recently.
There is a cycle of lands, 2 of them actually, depending on how you look at it. They're referred to as Karu lands. The plains, the mono white version was called Karu, so that's where they get the name. So there's a green land that says, enters the battlefield, return a forest to your hand, or sacrifice this. An untapped forest. Not that great. The premise is, play a land, return a land. So it's hard to use Azusa in a very broken way as the commander. But the multicolor version of the Karu lands that came out in Ravnica, they say, when it enters the battlefield, return a land to your hand. It just says a land, you can return it itself, which is important. I'll tell you in a second. They also say tap to add both of the colors that it taps for. So if it's a red-green one, it taps add a red and green to your mana pool. So you play a card called Amulet of Vigor. It says if a land would enter the battlefield tapped, untap it. Then you play Azusa Lost but Seeking. And you go, okay, land, ability on the stack to return it to hand, ability on the stack to untap it. Untap it. Before the ability to return it to hand resolves, tap it for 2 mana, return it to hand. Play it again, do it again. So you get to add 6 mana to your mana pool. Play a big thing, even though you only played 1 land this turn that entered tapped. So there's a modern deck actually built around it. It's a, what's it called? It's not Titan Shift. It's a Primeval Titan deck, which is a 6-drop creature that says search your deck for 2 lands, put them into play. And then when he enters and when he attacks. So you just use Azusa, an Amulet of Vigor, ramp into him turn 2. Maybe 1. I think 1 on the God hand, but turn 2. And then you just go nuts. Anyway.
I have an idea. Have you ever thought of holding a tournament where you have to lose to win?
I do inverted prizings.
What?
So in a more formal event, what I would do is first place is entered once, second place is entered twice, 32nd place is entered 32 times, and then raffle it off. So the more you lose, the better chance you have to have it.
This idea is a bit different.
Okay. But
the goal is to lose before your opponent loses.
You could just scoop.
No scooping.
It just sounds
from
like
the ability from your cards to either mill yourself to death or kill yourself by bringing your life down, something like that.
Now, I could definitely see that in a commander pod.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people would be excited about that for constructed, but I have been trying to find new ways of playing commander, and there's point systems. I'm not the first to innovate it. It's not the point. But yeah, that might be a alt win gone.
I do know there's a strategy to do it in 1 turn.
Probably.
Like, I really don't know the card names all too well, but I think I've asked to see if you had them, or maybe at the shop had them a few times. I just don't know the names of them.
What do they do?
I forgot. It's been a minute.
Okay.
But I do have this idea of, I don't know, losing before your opponent does without scooping, and the strategy is to...
There's pacts.
Pats? What?
Pact.
Pact?
Pact of Negation, Pact of the Titan, Summoner's Pact, Murderous Pact, and what's the other one? The white one's just real bad. But they all are 0 mana, and if you don't pay X amount of mana on your next turn, you lose the game. So,
part of the strategy.
Or a banned card in the format. Because if it's just... Because the mulligan rule is draw 7, don't like it, shuffle it back, draw 7. If you do like it, put X amount of cards for your hand, or X the number of times you shuffled your hand. And in Commander group games, you get a free mulligan. So that's 8 times to get a pact. So if you have 7 out of 99, that's just gonna say quick maths.
What'd you say?
A little percent. That's like 10%. Quick maths, right? That you'll see it because you'll have you draw first turn in multiplayer Commander 2. Mm-hmm. So you'll see 8 cards totaled, and then you do that across 8 shuffles. Now that's not 80% total, but your chance of winning is by losing is real high if you run 5 packs in a 5-color commander deck.
Yep. Part of the strategy.
But nobody's going to be set up for that unless it's announced well ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. But how would you go about doing it with a regular deck that you've built yourself? How do you go about losing? I don't know. Just an idea.
Let Corey Bell play it.
Fuck, he'd be the only winner.
Oh, man.
Sorry, Corey.
I just want you to listen to our content.
Yeah. I got a phone call?
Does it still record?
I think so. I put Do Not Disturb on. Yeah, it still goes. Sweet. 48. It's getting up there, so I think I will start to cut this off.
Okay.
I would like to be on your show for a strictly your podcast kind of thing sometime soon.
Okay. We got spoilers coming up that I need to talk about. So why don't you come down next Tuesday?
If I'm not working, yeah.
All right. Well, let me know your schedule because I know that's subject to change, and then I'll try and accommodate.
Alrighty, and you do the same.
Absolutely. My schedule's, I'm going to say blindly without working anything in. I'm busy, but because I'm the boss, I can take an hour break.
Yeah, an hour's pretty good length of time for a podcast, in my opinion.
I agree.
I like 3-hour ones, but at the same time,
they're arduous. Unless you're like set up in a relaxed, like
I mean, I used to listen to 3-hour podcasts when I was working as a merchant. You know,
I don't disagree. I used to as well. So the last time we recorded, I was on an uncomfortable bar stool. Mm-hmm. I would not want to do that for 3 hours.
Hell no.
I want to be comfortable, like in a nice, relaxed chair like this.
Like in a murder room that we discussed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not allowed to say on the show because it's a little graphic. Sorry.
So the joke was in minute detail, without going into Slamus words exactly. We walked into a boardroom with nice chairs, and he said that somebody's spouse probably died here.
Wait, I could probably bleep this out because I'm editing, right?
No,
oh, don't bleep it out?
Let's just leave it to people's imagination.
Like the aristocrats jokes.
Oh my god!
I love. If my buddy Rob was on the show right now, he'd be like, "You stop it,"
yeah.
Because I've tried to tell it multiple times. Like, he's heard it once, and that was one of the first episodes for this show. Was like maybe the second or third one. We just told terrible jokes, and I told that joke, and he had no idea it was a joke. I just started talking.
Oh my
I'm like,
god!
And that's that joke. That's a joke.
It's an unjoke.
Oh, I went into some graphic stuff like
where you think like it's all gonna matter. Like there's gonna be
like
something...
Midsummer graphic. Well, no. Midsummer's tame compared to what I said. Midsummer's kind of like an episode of Elmo, probably.
Jesus. So for people listening, don't go look up Bob Saget's version of the Aristocrats.
And now you will.
Don't.
Also, don't look up what a clear glass coffee table collection is.
Dude, don't. I'm mad you told me. Goodness.
You're not going to find the answer on Google. You got to really dig for it unless you are old enough to understand this joke.
You gotta really get in there.
And don't really dig for it, because that's not the word I would use.
All right. So yeah.
Anyway.
So this is gonna be on my podcast too. Regrettably, I'll probably hear something for it. Do you want to plug your channels?
Oh yeah. Well, kind of constructing it at the moment. Figuring it out all on my own is
Arduous.
I don't know. I get very indecisive of how I want to say it, like just separate all the content and where it goes and whatnot. But so far, the solid formula is just 2 Pints Radio Show by that Nick guy, author, that Nick guy, on Spotify and Apple. That's about it. YouTube seems to take down my stuff for some reason.
Well, do you have music?
No, none. This is all just podcast material.
Tagging it as explicit?
Yep. And not for children. Specifically, not for children.
Right.
I don't know why it gets taken down, or you can't even look up the channel. So, for future reference, Spotify and Apple Podcast is the 2 Pints Radio Show.
And because this will be on your channel, and I've plugged it before, you can find me at Guire Gaming on TikTok. You can find me at Guire_Gaming on Instagram. And then Facebook, Guire Gaming. That has all the TikTok, Instagram content. They all feed. Facebook would be the one that ended up with exclusive, because if I post on one, it ends up in all of them.
I'll put the links in this. I did not know that was a thing that you could put in the podcast description. Maybe I should practice doing that a little bit.
After the podcast, actually, I can incorporate it here. I'm pretty sure. If you go to otter.ai, it will also transcribe this audio and put it in text. And then if you copy paste that into your descriptions, it gives you better SEO, search engine optimization, because if somebody types in the keywords of a sentence that we said, it will come up higher in the newsfeed. So if somebody's like looking up 2 pints, my favorite 2 pints or recommended pints of Sun King. So pints.
That's exactly what I need, because I want to do beer reviews and whatnot. I want to know what 2 Pints Radio Show said about Budweiser Copper.
You can also then take that and make a blog where you post the link to this and then the text for anybody who can't hear or doesn't want to read it or only wants to read it.
I didn't think I could put that in a description because of a character limit or something.
Well, it depends on the platform.
Sounder FM is how I make my RSS feed. Maybe I should make them by hand and maybe just pay for hosting. Seems like free hosting has a limit.
Turns out.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, if it's free, you're the product. So with Facebook, it's free because they sell your data. If you're paying for it, well, hell, even now, sometimes you're still the product. To offset the cost because you wouldn't want to pay as much. Not the point. But yeah, those were my social media platforms. Feel free to get a hold of me. Tell me you're mad. Tell me you love it. Tell me everything in between. If you really want to talk to me, TikTok is where I'm the most vocal. And I'm actually putting together a community channel, which will be a text feed where you can text me directly.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
can I do it anonymously?
Yeah, I don't know who you are.
I think you will when I message. I'll be like,
hey, this
is Slam Up.
You just start the aristocrats.
Yes, that's exactly what I want. So this
I can block you.
So this family walks to a talent show agency.
Oh my god!
And that's where I'm gonna cut you.
Yeah, we're gonna end it right there.
This has been the 2 Pints Radio Show with your host, that Nick guy, with my guest, Kel McGuire. Thank you for being on the show. Yeah. Go drink a beer and have some fun and relax.
If you're of age.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to tell underpage.
Go drink underpage.
Under scoop, whatever that's called. I don't know. I'm pretty tired too. It's time to go. Have a good night. Good night. Good night.